Hollers and Hills of West Virginia. It's Heavenly Hills Homestead with another episode. Stay tuned. Boo! All right, guys, so we got some things on the table here. This is not all the stuff we have, but we have a lot more, okay? And we didn't bring everything in because there's just not enough room for it all. Again, you guys have seen a lot of the things I use here, last year, already using it this year. And so I just wanted to kind of brush up on some of the things that you maybe not have seen this year, that you might not know that there's a video out from last year. So because you might not know, there are so many videos out there that I have. Might be a little hard to find it because I was really bad last year about labeling and all these things. But I just kind of wanted to go over some of the stuff, why I have it, what I use it for, and maybe mention some more things that I have that you've probably seen but don't know what it is. And then I'll mention some other things that you probably haven't seen that's not on the table that I will use. So let's get to talking about it right now. So first and foremost, pull it to the forefront, Moab. All right. This stuff right here is the mother of all bloom. This is 100 grams. Right now, 100 grams of this costs $13.61, I believe, on Amazon. I meant to get more, but accidentally picked the 100 gram. I meant to get like 500 grams of this stuff. There is the guaranteed analysis on the back. It's a 52-32. It's a 0, 52-32, so there's no nitrogen in it. 52 on the phosphorus and 32 on the potassium. Guys, this stuff, I seen it last year, and I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try, and surprisingly, it does really good. I'm very happy with it. I've recommended it to other people already this year, and they've already started using it on their plants, and they're like, wow, man, like, this stuff is like crack for plants, and it is, and it does really good. I believe you're going to like this stuff. Right now, I'm putting together an Amazon store, trying to become an affiliate, so you guys can have affiliate links. And hopefully those affiliate links will end up turning into you guys saving money. All right. So I'm in the middle of the process right now of making the affiliate link and trying to get the affiliateship, I guess is what it would be called, whatever it is, program started up with Amazon. And so once that gets set, I'm hoping that you guys, I can recommend products to. I can put them up in my storefront or whatever you want to call it. And you guys can buy it and have links to it, and I can set the links in my description boxes so you guys can buy the same stuff that I'm using if you so choose to. You don't have to, but if you choose to use it, because here's the thing. I try to be frugal, right? I try to make sure I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and so I try to pass those savings on to you by way of recommending what works best for your dollars, right? So it only makes sense for me to go on ahead and get an affiliate program so I can get you guys the links and save you guys more money, hopefully, and be able to share what I use, because, like I say, I try to make sure I'm saving money, I'm getting the best value that I can, so I would save you guys on a lot of search hours, a lot of search time, and a lot of research and development, right, of trying to figure out what's going to work and what's not. So, again, this stuff right here, this Moab, I like it a lot. It works really good. Highly recommend using Moab on your tomatoes, your pumpkins, whatever, right? It's some good stuff. But I would buy more than 100 grams, because it's just 100 grams just don't go very far. If you want to know how much 100 grams is, you can see in there, that's 100 grams, okay? It's not even that full thing. It's, see if y'all can see. Yeah, right there. Y'all see the line right there? Right here, you can see the line. So it's about, I don't know, almost a halfway full jar at 100 grams. All right, so you're not getting much. And but here, the good thing about this is let's see, it's right here. You see the early flowering is 5 milliliters, 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons, and then late flowering is 1 to 2 teaspoons per 5 gallons. So it's pretty good stuff. All right, guys. So there's the Moab. Got that out of the way. Now let's talk about something that I have not used last year and I should have. All right, which is your pH up and your pH down. All right. You need your pH balances to be, within reason, right? And so they need. You get to mixing these fertilizers together, and you can be causing yourself some issues. Way too high of pH, or maybe there's not enough pH, right? And so you want to get that. You want to have a good balance when you fertilize. So using a pH up or a pH down helps keep your pH levels good, right? Because you want, like if you're going to do tomatoes, you want it to be slightly acidic. So when you feed, if you're giving feed that's going to throw the ground out of whack and maybe not make it acidic, and would bring that acidity down, and you want to keep it at a certain level, well, you can assure that you're doing that by using one of these products, right? So you can bring the acidity down if you need to, or you can bring the acidity up if you need to, right? To keep that tomato plant at what, about a 6, 6 and let's see, what would we want it at? No, we don't want it at 6. We want it at about a 5, right? About 5.5 to 5.9, somewhere around in there for tomato. So you can bring that around, right? I think pumpkin is like a 6.5, something like that. 7 maybe, somewhere around there for pumpkin. Don't quote me on that, because I'm just going off of memory, and sometimes my memory doesn't serve me best. But you can surely check those pH levels before you apply, and then put your pH up or down, whatever you need, into your mixture of fertilizer, and do it. So for instance, let me go get a cup real quick. All right, guys, so got a cup here now. All right, so let's say you got a measuring cup and you put in some microgenics, right? And then you put in some Prevogenics liquid compost. And you put in a little bit of Prevogenics, pure amino acids. And you put a little bit of, opulent blends, bloom juice, or actually Prevogenics, bloom juice, same difference. And then you toss in a little bit of Trident's Pride fish emulsions in there, right? And you got it all in this cup. And you pull out your handy dandy pH meter and your TDS meter, right? And get your pH meter out there, and you test it, and you say, that's at a level 5, and you're getting ready to water your pumpkins. And so you got your handy dandy meter and it says 5 on there, right? And you're like, well, I can't have 5. This is not good. I need a 6.5 or 6.9, somewhere around in there for my pumpkins. And you say, well, it's about time I bring my pH down in here, right? Or excuse me, my pH up. Okay, so you need pH up because your pH is down. So you pull out your pH up, and you pull out your little chart here, right? And you would go by the chart on what you need to do, which is actually a pretty nice little chart that they got here. pH control kit, 8 ounces. Yeah, so there you go. Kind of tells you everything right there. And this is Bloom City. Had some pretty good reviews and stuff on it, and it was decently priced. I did not do this last year. I didn't have a pH kit. I didn't even have a pH meter or a TDS meter. And I should have had them, but I didn't. So this one is a Vivo Sun. Since we've already got it out, might as well tell you about it. It's a Vivo Sun. You can see it there. It's a combo kit. And I think it's like $20 for this combo kit. And everything that I've bought that's been Vivo Sun has been really, really good stuff. Again, as soon as I can get my my affiliate stuff going on with Amazon, I'll definitely put this on there for you guys to check out, because I do believe it's a valuable tool to have. You got to test that pH and find out where that pH is, and whether you need to bring it up or down. So this is a valuable asset. You also need to know your TDS, which is your total dissolved solids, right? So like, for instance, if you're mixing up stuff, you want to know that ratio at which that you need to know what you got going on, and it's a valuable tool to have. I'm not very proficient with them yet. I'm still learning them. I had to use them this winter some, and I did figure out some things with them. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what to do and exactly. I'm not going to tell you that, because I am still learning. So. But I will tell you when we use them, and I'll show you what I'm doing when I use them for mixing these things up in the future. Anyhow, that's enough on the pH up and everything. Let's see, get this cup out of the way real quick. While we got it up here, might as well talk about it. This is the fish emulsion that I use. It's Trident's Pride. It is a 231 on the MPK, which is right there, 231. Guys, I like it. It done well for me last year. Now, I used this in combination with 2 other fish emulsions. Okay, so I used more of this. I used like 3 gallons or 4 gallons of this stuff last year. 2 gallons of the Neptune's Harvest tomato and veg. The reason I used tomato and veg was not for anything to do with this. This here was a standalone product. It can be used just like it is, standalone, and work and do the job you need it to do for feeding your plants. The reason why I used tomato and veg was because it has an extra protecting layer there that they claim will help with drought tolerance. All right, and so I used it. I do believe that it helped with drought tolerance. Now, I did some more research and things, and that can be just a claim. It's kind of that fine line where things can be a claim and not be totally backed, but I am telling you from experience that I used that fish emulsion with this fish emulsion, and it did stop the plants from wilting, or they just magically stopped wilting. Either or. I don't know which one, but it just, if I didn't use it, they went to wilting, and then when I went back to using it, they quit. And what I did is I foliar fed the plants the fish fertilizer. And you don't believe me, you can ask my wife, because she hates that smell. The whole yard smells like a rank, stank, nasty mess when I spray this stuff. And she hated it. But And when I used it, the next day it could be just as hot as it was the day before. And the day after I sprayed that foliarly, the plants would not be wilted. They wouldn't be droopy or nothing like that. So, does it help with heat, drought tolerance? To me, yes. And so that's all I can say. But that's the only reason why I use that fish emulsion. The other reason why I used the third fish emulsion, again, had nothing to do with this one not being able to stand alone on its own. It can. But what I liked about the other one is they claimed to have 26 different amino acids. Now, at the time, I was unaware that there's only 20 main ones, or 20 of them, and then 9 are main amino acids. Didn't know that. I was ignorant. So when I read that it had 26 of these amino acids, I'm thinking, that's a lot. I want to give these plants every one of those amino acids. And so I fed it. And it was a 511 fish emulsion by SafeGrow. Did it help? I don't know. I do know this. It had 511, where this is a 231. So you put a 511 with a 231, and then I think Neptune's Harvest was a 321. You put all that together, you're getting some growth. I mean, they grow, and they grow quick, and they grow big, and they grow pretty, and they're nice and green and healthy. For all that saying, I think you can just use this one right here by itself. It's a good product. Last time I checked, a gallon of it was $20. Okay, versus Neptune's Harvest is $50 for a gallon. I mean, if you want to go that route, go ahead. Am I going to pay this year the tomato and veg, because I looked at it and I was going to buy it at $50 a pop. But I went to go get a gallon of it this year, and it was $59.91 or something like that for a gallon jug of tomato and veg. I don't want the other one. I don't want the blue one, because I don't need the blue one. I want the red one, the tomato and veg one, the drought resistant kind, or whatever you want to call it, tolerance. And so I went to get it, and like I said, it was $59.61 or something like that. And I just, what? I'm not paying $60 a gallon. I'm not. I can't justify that, and I'm not going to do it just for a possibility that it could help with my drought resistance. And here's the thing: it's not hot right now. I mean, it's been a cool year so far, right? I mean, we can't hardly get the plants to grow right now. I can't anyhow, because it won't stay hot enough in the winter at nighttime. It's getting way too cool at night. So anyhow, I'm just going to use this product. I believe this product's good. I used it last year. I was very impressed with it. Again, it was a good product. It was a good price. And guys, if I can get it at a better price for you, I will, through my Amazon affiliate stuff that I'm trying to do. Or he's one of my sponsors. Trident's Pride, Just Sensational, Bare Ground is one of my sponsors. And so maybe I can talk to him and try to create an affiliate link through him with a coupon code and get you guys some much needed relief if you guys so choose to use it. Comment down below if you guys would be interested on using this. And if I get enough people commenting that you would like to use it, I'll write him an email tomorrow and say, hey, look, I got some interest in this. Is there any way that you could pass some savings on to my subscribers if they use a coupon code? So I'll try to see what I can work out. But I got to have enough people. I can't just have one. I need you guys to really, really, really comment. If you guys really want to use that, I got to have justification to write him an email and say, hey, I can't do it for the 1 or the 5. But if I get 20 or I get 30 or 40 people, watching this video and commenting, yeah, hey, I want to use that product, get a coupon code, then I'll definitely write him, because I can show him my list, right, on in the comment section, right? I can show him the comment section and he'll be like, hey, these people are interested in it, and it help give him justification to use that coupon code. Okay, so while we're talking about it, let's go ahead and talk about Microgenics 0.75. Guys, this is some good stuff. You can see there you got magnesium, manganese, calcium, zinc, copper, boron, nickel, and iron. All right, guys, and it's 0.75% of each of those micronutrients. I used it you know, when I needed it this winter. You don't have to have a lot of it to go a long way, especially if your stuff is in tune. You could probably use this like once every 2 weeks as a foliar upkeep, or a drench every 1 to 2 weeks as an upkeep. Anything that's opulent blend that I talk about, it's through Previgenics. Okay, guys. So this is opulent blend, pure amino acids, guys. I've used this stuff because I was after them. I said, hey, I need something that grows roots. I want big roots. I need something for the root zone. Blah 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 blah. I kept hammering them, and they said, well, look, do a test on just pure amino acids on beans and see what the root ends up being on the beans. So I did that, and I did it on the sunflowers. And granted, that was in the wintertime, but they all looked pretty good. And so the pure amino acids does grow some pretty good root zone, okay? And it does help with rooting, I believe, from what I have seen and what they have shown me, okay? Because it's not that I didn't ask for evidence from them. They've shown me, okay? And so I've seen a lot of this stuff, and it does work what they say that it'll do. So I got the pure amino acids for roots. But while we're talking about the roots, let's go on ahead and pull this jug on around here. I'm sure you guys have seen it. So last year I used Fertilome root stimulator, and it's a 4 on the nitrogen, a 10 on the phosphorus, and a 3 on the potassium. All right, guys. I used it as a root stimulator, and I honestly believe that this stuff did the trick. Now, the only reason why I'm using it again this year is for 2 reasons. One, I need something that I know for a fact, without any question, will lay some roots down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Not just a little bit here and there throughout the growing cycle, but something that will end up growing them right now. Like I put it down, I can tell a difference. Last year I used this, and within 2 weeks of me using this stuff and burying the roots, I was seeing roots coming up, and they were literally crawling on top of the ground. Little white things all over the ground. There's a video out there on it that I did last year. I don't know which one it is, but it's out there. And you can see all these little white hair things just crawling all over the ground. And that was from this root stimulator really getting those roots to grow. And so I contacted Fertilome, and I told them, hey, I used your product. I loved your product, and blah, 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 blah. It's good stuff. Thanks for making it. And they said, oh, hey, that's great. We would like to share your video, or no, share your pictures and stuff. And I was like, okay, no problem. Everybody that's wanted to share the pictures has done something for me. Shirt, hat, product, all those things. And this stuff here, all right, I'm just going to tell you the whole story. I got a thread that was literally from the bottom to the top of this company, all right? Like, when you email them on the website, you email them, it goes into that first entry-level guy, right? He reads the email. Well, when he read the email, he sent it to the next guy, which then read it and said, this is great stuff, can't wait. He sends it to the next guy, which said, oh my goodness, that's great for our business. That'll draw a lot of attention, which sent it to the next guy. Long story short, it got to the president, and he said, ask him if we can use their pictures. This would boost our sales tremendously. So, or something along those lines, guys. Trust me, I'm not lying. I can show you the email, the whole thread. And so I'm sitting there, and I read it. I got emailed. And I don't know if they meant to send me the email with all that in it, but I got it. And so, I messaged him back, and I said, yeah, you're more than welcome to use the pictures if you so choose. But, is there a way that you guys would be willing to help me out next year? And so I didn't know Fertilome made all this stuff that they got. I didn't know that Fertilome did anything other than root stimulator, because I don't research past what I need, right? I don't go and look and say, oh, Fertilome, they got root stimulator. I wonder if they got A, B, C, D, E, F, and G all the way to Z. I don't do that. I find that one product that I need. I try it out. If it works, I keep using it. That's it. Well, come to find out, they got fish emulsions, and they got this, and they got that, and everything else. And all I wanted was the root stimulator. That's all I was interested in. I emailed them, hey, can you help me out? This is what I have in mind for next year. This is how big I want to go. And if you guys provided me with the root stimulator, it would help soften the blow that I have to spend out, and I could focus more on other things that would make me a better grower, i.e. a soil test, shade cloths, all the bit that I have to do and have bought so far, right? Backpack sprayer, etc. So they emailed me back, I think, and I think they were one of the ones that said, no, we can't do it or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. They might not even email me back, because there was several companies that I talked to and stuff that I'd used their products and everything. Some of them was interested, some of them wasn't. Some of them wanted to do stuff but said I didn't have a big enough following at the time, so they didn't want to fool with me at the moment, and said maybe contact them later on down the road when I got a bigger following, yada yada yada. But that's why I like Opulent Blends and Prevogenics and the Just Sensational guys. They all gave me a chance. I was low on the totem pole, only had less than 100 subscribers at the time, and they all wanted to take a chance on me, and that's why I'm very, very grateful to them for taking that chance and allowing me, free range, whatever I need, they give it to me. And they've joined me in other things, like my veteran stuff. So I'm very grateful for that and stuff. But that just goes to show you, you guys can grow these things. You can grow these really big, stuff, and you can do really well with their product. But that does not mean, and they know, they know the benefits of them showing your picture with something great, like a world record or a state record. They know that means money in the bank for them, because other people is going to see that on their social media accounts. It's going to get shared, even if it's not for their product. They're sharing it because of my picture, right? Like, people will share just that picture because they want to share a giant squash or a giant tomato or a giant pumpkin, right? And they'll share it for the picture, but because the company is attached to it through ways of their product being used to grow that, then that equates to X amount of dollars. You understand? And so I just wanted to kind of plug that in, that if you guys go and you are going to these people and you're showing them what you've grown, and they're like, well, can I use your picture? And they're only offering you a hat or a t-shirt or this or that, and they don't want to give you anything else other than that, you're selling yourself short, and you should tell them no. I'm just going to be dead honest with you. You should tell them no, because you're making a multi-million-dollar company that much more money, and you're not seeing a plug nickel out of it. And it don't cost them nothing for them shirts and them hats. It don't cost them nothing for them to send you a bottle or two of their product. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of money that they're going to make off of plugging you into their social media accounts and stuff of a picture with you having grown this giant, right? And then everybody wants to flock to that product, okay? So you're making untold amounts of money to them, and if they're going to treat, my thought is they need to treat you as valuable as what they say that you are, okay? And it's kind of an insult for them to only offer certain things. After having looked and done and thought about this since last fall, it is kind of an insult to kind of slap something onto you and say, here you go, appreciate it, and then that picture can be used however many times they want to make them untold amount of money, because it's never going to be known the exact amount that is going to be told. It's not like they're at the checkout counter at Lowe's saying, I seen this great big giant squash or great big tomato or great big this or great big that, and that's why I bought this, okay? Or wherever they go to get this product at, they're not going, the customers are not going to be there going and saying, because of this is why I bought that. The only thing they're going to know is they're either keeping steady sales when they probably should have dropped off, especially in an economic climate like we have right now, or they're seeing a slight 1 to 2% increase, which a 1 to 2% increase on a multi-million-dollar company is a big increase. And if it's just because of you or you and five of your buddies, then you and five of your buddies should have got a whole lot more than what you got. That's just my take on it. Don't sell yourself short, guys. I mean, seriously, if you guys are using products and you're telling these people that you used them and everything, they know the value of that, and don't let them get you. Okay, I mean, they should compensate you well for you allowing them to use your pictures and stuff like that. So I just wanted to plug that real quick. Now, and yes, I'm still using the product. Why? Because it works, and I'm not going to go out here and buy Advanced Nutrients bottle like this. You know, about this, what is this? A 16-ounce bottle. I'm not going to go buy a 16-ounce bottle for like $40-50 of root mass expander, root stimulator, when I can get this right here for like $20. All right. Anyhow, back to the mission at hand. Complete disease control by Monterey. Best that I can tell, you know, this is Bacillus. All right. I don't even ask me to pronounce that name right there. Okay. There's all the ingredients, and it's all natural stuff. You can see it's OMRI approved, and it does work. I've been using Monterey products since 2020. I fell in love with them in 2020 and their products, and they worked, and so I've continued to use them. I had a horrible case of tomato worm, right? Caterpillars are horrible, especially tomato ones. They'll ravage a plant in no time. And I couldn't find that little rat. No, I mean, I looked that plant over and over and over, and I could not find him nowhere. And I finally got upset, bought me some BT, and wouldn't you know, the day after I put that BT on, I found that little rascal deader than a doornail hanging off of one of the branches. And I said, I got you, you rascal. Again, BT, you can see right there, you know, what it's made out of. It's a Bacillus thuringiensis, I think. I don't ask me to pronounce it. Anyhow, I know it works, and it works on these. This is a caterpillar kind of, you know, worms, caterpillars kind of deal. You can inject this with a syringe. All right, so get you a syringe with a needle, okay, and draw you some up in it, and you can inject this into your vines. If you have squash vine borers, you can take that syringe full of BT and inject it into there. You'll kill him out quicker, as opposed to if you were to foliar feed it or to drench it, and then the plant have to uptake it, and then he have to ingest it. The way that this works is the caterpillar, the worm, whatever it is, the grub, ingests the plant, and as soon as he ingests the plant, he stops eating and he dies. All right. So that's how this stuff works. It's some good stuff. I stand by it. And again, you can drench it and foliar feed it as the preventative. But if you find yourself with a squash vine borer problem and you have not used what I'm about to show you here in just a second, which I recommend you use only on your giant pumpkins, okay, or giant squash-like plants. But if you want to just stay all natural, BT, you know, if you find that you got one of those, if you haven't been using it and your plants don't have it steadily in the system, you could, you know, lose that plant. But from what I understand, they could get used to it and it not be as effective. So, you know, you got that to kind of compete with as well. You just want to be kind of careful about what you use, how you use it. You want to use them in rotation. All right, so you use BT 1 week, use something else the next week, something else the next week, go back to BT, and just kind of use them in a rotation if you can. But again, if you find those squash vine borers already in your plant, chewing and munching away, get you a syringe, fill that syringe up, poke the needle into the vine, and give him a couple good squirts of that stuff, and he'll be dead the next day. So, on to what I was going to talk about now. This stuff right here. Guys, I do not like using this stuff. That is Merit 75 WSP, also known as imidacloprid. All right, I don't like using it. I don't like using it. It is an insecticide, and it is very effective, but it is some dangerous stuff. Don't ever handle it without gloves. don't ever, if you're going to be spraying it out of a foliarly, because you can do this foliarly. Some people say, well, you're supposed to drench it. Right here. Foliar and systemic insect control. Okay? So you can use it either or. Guys, wear gloves. If you're going to spray it foliarly, wear eye protection. Wear gloves. Wear a respirator of some sort. All right? Cover yourself. Wear a long sleeve shirt, long pants to use it if you're going to be spraying it. If you're going to drench it, there's little baggies in here that are water soluble. They melt in water. Now, one little bag is 1.6 ounces, and that bag does like 8,000 to 11,000 square feet. Okay. So what I do is I take and I cut the baggie and I put it in a small styrofoam cup. All right. I cut the top. I try to get all the powder down into the bottom of the baggie, and I wear gloves and I get that powder down into the bottom of the baggie. I take scissors and cut the top of the bag off. Then I take and pour the contents of the bag into a cup. All right. Then I take the bag and I bury the bag and the top that I cut off of the bag. I bury both of them at one plant because the contents that's left on the bag, in the bag, and on the top of the bag that I cut, that contents is enough to protect that plant. All right, there's enough residue and stuff of powder left in that to protect the plant. So I just water it. The plant, the bag melts into the soil, and the residue that's left in the bag goes into the plant, and there's my merit for that one plant. The rest of them, I take a scooper, right, and I go plant to plant, and I take my scoop, and I put about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. All right, I think it's a teaspoon, or no, it's a tablespoon. It's one either a half of a tablespoon to a whole tablespoonful, depending on the plant size, that I put out at the root zone of just the powder. I just pour the powder on. I try to do it on days that I know it's going to rain. Okay, that way I don't have to be out there and water it in. Now, if it is going to rain, but it might not rain till that night, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit, because I don't want the wind to come through and blow the powder around, right? So what I'll do is I'll take a gallon of water, and I'll just, wherever I've dumped it, I'll just take the watering can and lightly sprinkle the water over it to get the powder into a liquid, or even a clump of stuff, right, that's not going to be blowing in the wind, because I don't want nobody out there breathing this stuff, me or my kids or anybody else in the neighborhood, just blowing through the wind. Nobody knows it's there, and then they get it, right? So if you do that, make sure that you do it and then wet it down unless it's raining. If it's going to rain right then when you're doing it, then dump it and go and let the rain wash it in. Like I said, you can foliar feed it if you want to through your sprayers and stuff like that, and it can work. But I recommend that you just drench it in and do it like I said. It's the best way that I've found. You might find a better way, but I think it works just how I do it. Now, next thing we'll talk about is Sluggo. Sluggo is some pretty good stuff. However, this is a big bottle, and this big bottle here costs $30 a bottle. Here's what's in this bottle. Right there. Okay? And like I say, it does work and it's good stuff. But it's $30 a bottle. Now this whole bottle here is supposed to do my full yard, I believe. It's like an acre is what it does. Let's see if it says right here. I know I read it, but I don't know where exactly it's at, and I don't want to go back to it right now while we're on video. Anyhow, right here, 0.5 to 1 pound per 1,000 square feet. So you can use a half a pound to 1 pound per 1,000 square feet, and this was 5 pounds. Okay, so 5 pounds should do the entire yard, but I think that's a relatively light dose, or maybe somewhere that don't have as many slugs, because there's a ton of slugs here. Last year we noticed that there was a huge slug bloom, whatever you want to call it, And me and the neighbor he was like, "Do you see all them slugs?" I said, "Yeah, I see them. They're everywhere." I said, "I ain't never seen them like this." He said, "Me neither. I ain't never seen slugs like this." Literally everything we flipped last year, up and through till this spring, we would flip it over and there would be little slug eggs everywhere. So we were killing slugs, slug eggs, the whole 9 yards, all last year, all through the winter and all through the spring. Right? We killed them all year, and we still got as many slugs as we've got. And I've been putting this stuff down. So guys, like I say, probably the best thing to do is to bait them in with your scraps. So if you've got scrap watermelon or scrap cantaloupes or scrap tomatoes or junky tomatoes that you just thrown out of the garden you don't want, or anything that is a big broadleaf green like your cabbages and things of those natures. And you can afford to not feed them to the chickens and just make you a couple bait stations throughout the yard, then my recommendation is make you a couple bait stations like we talked about earlier in the video through the yard. Take this stuff, sprinkle it around the bait station. Snails will go to it, attracted to the bait, that's sitting there, and they'll get up on this stuff and it'll kill them. Then you ain't got to sit there and go all through your whole yard or all over all your plants, because you're gonna use a lot more of this than what it says, trust me. And you can see, I've used a bunch of it, and I'm still getting plants that are getting tore up. And I've done this one side over here, this flower bed on the cellar side. I've done that 3 times already, and I still have got a cabbage plant tore all to pieces. And so it only makes sense to try to make those bait stations. And again, if you ain't using Sluggo, you can't afford Sluggo, a little, bottle of salt, like that right there, Morton salt. You can get it for like 39 cents or something like that, right? And just go out there and load, set your stuff, your bait on a plate, on a paper plate. Pour the plate full of salt. They're going to smell the bait. They're going to come to it, and they're going to get all up in that salt, and it's going to kill them, and you're going to be rid of your slug problem. So, like I say, you can do this or you can do that. This stuff works. It's just expensive. That's the only downside to it. It just costs a lot of money. Now, this stuff here, garden insect spray, you can see right there, it's spinosad. All right. You can see right there the stuff that's in it. All right. Guys, this stuff, it works really good. It has minimal effect. I do know that, not minimal effect on bugs, has minimal effect on us. You could ingest it and things like that, and most of it says, that it passes through the body. It's some really good stuff. The only problem with this is if you apply it and it rains, it washes off. If you apply it and there's a lot of sun, the sun does something to it, right? I don't think it lasts a very long time is what I'm getting at. But the effectiveness of it, while it does last, is very, very high and very, very good. That's why I have to recommend using spinosad, the garden insect spray. All right, I really like it, and I'm very, very glad that they come up with that. The next thing here is Fungimax. Guys, you've seen me use Fungimax last year quite a bit. It works. You've seen me use it on some of the tomato plants, and they've just gotten slammed with nasty stuff. And I thought, my goodness, I ain't never going to be able to recoup from this. These plants look like crap. And lo and behold, the Fungimax worked. It killed the bacteria, or not bacteria, but the fungus. I think it was a fungus. I think it was a fungi that I was fighting. If it wasn't, then it was the disease control that killed it, if it was a bacterial. But I believe it was fungi. And we got rid of it, and we did really good using Fungimax. Fungimax is a good stuff. I really like it. Again, fell in love with it in 2020. My problem, though, was I didn't use it as a preventative last year like I should have. I waited until I got the disease. Then once I noticed the disease, I thought it was something else. And then I waited another week past seeing the disease to figure out, oh, crap, this is something I should be trying to treat. And so I was 2 weeks behind on using it. So this year, we're not going to do that. We're just going to start using it, as a preventative. That way we can try to prevent it from ever starting up and happening again this year. Next thing, liquid copper. Liquid cop. All right. It is a fungi medication as well. A lot of people use it. You can see right there, it's a copper fungicide garden spray. All right, and then there's all the stuff that's in it right there. Okay, guys, and it does work. I've used it in the past. I used it in 2020. I don't think I used any of it last year. But here's the deal. I did buy it, and then I got to thinking, well, I got copper in there from Prevogenics. While they're not exactly the same, the Prevogenics copper is a nutrient-based product. There we go. While the copper from Prevogenics is a nutrient-based product, this liquid cop is, a actual fungicide product. So it is processed just a little bit differently, but I do know that I can use effectively the Prevogenics copper to effectively treat and cure disease on my plants, even though it is a nutrient product. And here's how I know. I did it last year. I showed you in the videos, and it did exactly what they said it would do. You get those frosts that happen at about 33 to 36 degrees, and those frosts are caused by these little bugs on your plant that can freeze at higher temperatures, and they even use them at snow place, at like Winter Place and Snowshoe here in West Virginia ski resorts. So they use them here. That exact bug or bacteria or whatever it is on the plants, they use that to create fake snow at the ski resorts. So anyhow, I used that copper from Prevogenics last year, which was nutrient based, to treat my plants before the frosts, and my plants did survive and did really well. So that's just a little tip on that. But this is more specific because it is an actual copper fungicide. So you can use either one, whichever one you got, and it'll work. Now, next thing back here is I got a huge bag of Epsom salt. What is that? A 19-pound bag of Epsom salt. You say, "Why in the world you got 19 pounds of Epsom salt?" All right, guys. So while I don't always think you need to go out here and pour a bunch of Epsom salt on your stuff, Epsom salt is magnesium, all right, and sulfur, okay? So if you need magnesium or you need sulfur, you can use Epsom salt to get that built up, okay? So what I did is I did not add it this year. I was supposed to, and I didn't. So what I'm going to do is every month I'm going to buy a 19-pound bag, and I'm just going to feed it to my plants. A little bit, because I should have added it to the soil, and I didn't. So I'll feed some to the plants through drenching, and I'll use the 19-pound bag, and I'll just drench it, all throughout the month, right? A little bit here and a little bit there. I'll just get it all through to the plant. Wherever I'm rooting the plant at, I'll probably pour some there. Wherever, and until the plant gets big and full. Goodness, having trouble talking. Until the plant gets big and full, and then once the plant gets big and full, then I will, start drenching it in to the whole plant. So anyhow, that's why I got it, and because I should have got it, and I had totally forgot about it. And I said, oh man, I didn't add magnesium and sulfur. I did add some sulfur, and I did add some magnesium. I did. I added the magnesium that y'all seen in an earlier video that were tablets made for people to take, but you can use them. They just takes a little while for them to dissolve. I used those, but I don't think that there was the amount to equate bringing that magnesium level up as high. It probably got it up to about half of what it should have been. And the sulfur, I added 18% sulfur, and I think it was supposed to be a little bit higher. So we'll just watch, and like I say, we'll use this. It ain't gonna hurt nothing to use it. So we'll use it 19 pounds of it a month, and that should help me to keep it relatively in check throughout the season, hopefully enough to where I can correct it good next year like I should have this year. Just one of those things I forgot. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about for tonight, because it's getting late and the video's done got long. This is diatomaceous earth. Comes with a scooper. Okay. It comes in this bag, so when you open this bucket up, it don't go all over. It's a really fine powder. You can see there, it's really, really fine. All right. You say, well, what is diatomaceous earth? Diatomaceous earth is made from diatoms. All right, and these things are in the soil, or not in the soil, but they're found in like the dried up beds or in bogs and stuff like that, right? Let's see if there's anything on here. Yeah, Bio-D is the purest food grade fresh water amorphous silica diatomaceous earth available, derived from fossilized diatoms remains. All right. I got the food grade because the pool grade does not do what I needed to do. All right. Pool grade, you can buy a pool grade if you need to. I don't think that the pool grade is going to work as good on your plants as it should. Basically, if you go and you look up diatoms or diatomaceous earth, what you see is these underneath the microscope. There's these little weird looking cylindrical. Kind of reminds you of like a hot tamale or something of the sort, like hot tamale. What's the other ones that are kind of Mike and Ike or whatever? They kind of look like that. All right. Well, when they get broke down and stuff, then they kind of turn into like these little shards of glass, right? And so people eat this stuff, and I plan on doing it. Eating some of this moderately, or not moderately, a little less than moderate. I won't just ease my way into it, and I'll tell you why. And because people that take it in bigger doses to start out with tend to have flu-like symptoms, tend to have severe diarrhea and things like that, because it's literally grabbing all the toxins in your body. It's hooking to the heavy metals and stuff in your body, and it's raking it through your system, just pulling it all out, right? And so it's a good detox. People that use it, they get better skin, they get better bowel movements, they got better energy levels, they sleep better, all kinds of stuff. Go look it up if you don't believe me. There's tons of videos on YouTube, and I'm going to end up being one of those people that do a review on this stuff, and I'm going to tell you exactly what my review is. Whether these people are pulling your chain or not, you're going to find out what this stuff will do, because I'm going to try it, because I think detoxifying the body is a really good thing. We need to get all those heavy metals out from all those things that we've been using for years and years and years, and some of the things that we've pumped into our body, or maybe didn't want pumped into our body, but didn't have any choice. Somebody just said, hey, it's good for you, shoot it in there. I can't mention the names of it, but I'm sure you guys all had a shot record. So anyhow, it grabs all the heavy metals that are left over from some of this stuff, and it pulls it out, right? And it's those shards of glass, or not, it's not really glass, it's just they say they're shards, they're like shards of glass. It's those things that grab a hold of these bad things in your body and yank them through the system and come out of your poop, okay? Well, those same things are what helps keep the bugs away. And so this is another layer of protection and use for bug control, right? So pests don't want to run their bellies and their bodies over this stuff, or their ectoskeletons, or whatever they're called, and it dries them out. Like people use this food grade stuff here, like for cockroaches or bed bugs, or oh goodness, I don't even want to think about that. Or any ants. Ants is another good one, right? And so no little pest like this stuff. It kills them. It dries them out. It kills them. It rakes their body and just puts the little cuts all in their body, and then that makes them leak, and then they die from dehydration and stuff. So, I mean, it's some pretty good stuff. And so they make this little squeezer, right? And you would fill this little squeezer up, and you just like that, and blow this powder all over your plant, and it protects it. Now, here's the cool part about this. You say, well, the rain will just wash it off, or, well, as soon as I water my plant from my overhead sprinkler, it'll just wash it off. Here's the deal with this stuff. While water does render it useless, the cool part about it is it hooks into the plant, it stays on the plant leaf, and when it dries out, it goes back to being effective again. So you can spray this diatomaceous earth on your plant, okay, and spray your plants, water your plants. Don't worry that you had a rainstorm after you applied something to your plant, right? Because guess what? This stuff is going to dry back out and it's going to go back to working again. So yes, water renders it useless, but water doesn't wash it off and get rid of it totally to where it's ineffective. It dries back out and becomes effective again. So you get a win-win with this stuff. So that's why I bought, it's 4 pounds of it. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try it out on a detox part. I'm going to try it out on my plants. And if it works, you guys are going to see a firm believer in diatomaceous earth. Now, last and final thing, because I forgot to talk about it, is 7 dust. 7 dust, or and I use the liquid. I don't like the dust as much as the liquid. Liquid, it's concentrate. You can use, spray it, and it seems to do better. Every time I dust, the dust never wants to fall right, and it seems like I use a whole bottle. The bottles are like that big and about that big around. Seems like you use a whole bottle in a very little area. Because I'm trying to get it, you try to do it with the wind, to carry it and blow it onto the plant. And it just never works out for me, right? So I said, okay, enough with the stuff. And so a couple years ago in 2020, I started using the liquid. I only use the powder if it's an extreme emergency and I can't find nothing else, and I got to have something to kill something with, right? So this stuff here is used only on my plants when they're not blooming, okay? If they are blooming and I have to use it, I try to pinch the blooms off. Only other time I use it is if it's a severe case of, say, spider mite or some kind of bad, crazy mess, something that I need to try to get rid of and I ain't got nothing else, right? And I'll use it. And now I don't go through and pinch off everything. I try to use it in midday, so that mid to late day, right? So about 1, 3, 4, somewhere around in there, and that way it's got time to dry. I try to be mindful not to get around the blooms, because that's where the bees and stuff are going to go. Try to make sure I don't get the blooms, and I'm very mindful of that when I'm spraying. I try to spray more of a stream with this stuff, as opposed when I have to do it that way. I try to spray more of a stream than I do a mist. That way I can make sure that I'm only getting the leaf and avoid the bloom. But it does kill everything. It kills bees and stuff. So use it sparingly if you can. That's why all this other stuff is here, so that I can use it sparingly. If I have to, I will, because I need to eat. I need to survive. I need to can, and and push comes to shove, I can go out there and pollinate my stuff. It would suck to do it by hand, but I can do it, right? So I try to be aware of that. The other part about that merit that I didn't tell you is, if you use it, make sure you're pre-bloom, or if you are blooming, okay, and you've used it, make sure you're pinching off all the blooms before they open, okay? Like, you can grow them, and then if they open, pinch them off, all right, before they open, right? So you can see which ones are going to open the day before. But like I said, most of you guys aren't going to use that unless you're a giant grower using it on pumpkins or squash of some sort. So, guys, I hope this video was educational. I hope you learned something. There's many more things to talk about. I got tons of other products and things, Azos, Mycos, K-Cal, CalMag, boron, zinc, put together. You name it, I've got it. Tons of different, Bloom Boom, Bloom Juice, which is right here, okay, which I think they quit making this. But liquid compost, tons of other things that I got to talk about, just don't have time. So anyhow, here's the rundown of what all I do use, what I have used, and what I know works. All right, so we appreciate it. We're going to get out of here and on to the next day. And guys, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you tomorrow right here in the Hollers and Hills. of West Virginia.
Don't forget to smash that like button. That notification bell.
Don't get the
Good job. Here you go. Thank you.
Don't get the
Don't forget to share. Yep. There you go. Good job. And
And
subscribe.